Well, welcome to yoga, everyone. I realized that I never introduced myself at the beginning of these videos. Most of you know me and have taken my classes live in person, but for those of you who are going to be practicing this later through YouTube, I'm Delia. I am your teacher today. This is Wonder of Stars Yoga, and we are going to be doing a nice, gentle practice, pajama yoga today. So we're going to start laying down on our back. So go ahead and grab a strap if you have one or a towel, and you're just going to want to keep it nearby because we're going to use it in a bit. So make your way onto your back. And then just take a moment here to find any movement you might need. Maybe taking the feet nice and wide with the knees bent and doing some windshield wipers. Or maybe extending the legs long and reaching the arms overhead, taking a full body stretch. You can even draw the knees into the chest, any kind of movement that you might need. And then when you're feeling a little bit loosened up, when you're feeling more connected to your mat, go ahead and find just a comfortable place where you can come into stillness. So I'm just going to keep my knees bent for now. My spine is not very warm, so I'm going to take my feet wide and let my knees rest together in the center. If that's not comfortable for you, you can come to any other position, maybe using blocks or a bolster under the knees for support. Hands can rest gently on the belly or down by the sides. I'm just going to rest mine on my belly for now so that I can begin to become in touch with my breath. So allow the eyes to soften or close. And then just begin to tune into your natural breath. No need to try and control it or change it right now. Just noticing whatever is there. Maybe the breath feels a little shallow today. Maybe it's feeling nice and deep and smooth. Noticing if you're feeling the breath more in the belly or more in the chest. Beginning to see if you can lengthen each inhale and each exhale just a little. Never forcing anything, but just seeing if you can smooth the breath out, make it a little bit more even. And seeing if you can draw the breath all the way down into the belly. So feeling the belly gently expand with each inhale. Taking 3 more here. And if you have an intention or a dedication for maybe taking a moment to think about that now. It can be to anyone or anything that feels right to you in this moment. And if you can't think of anything, I invite you to consider finding ease. So maybe just thinking about ways to find ease during your practice today. It's pajama yoga after all. So we're not going to be in a big hurry. And just finding a little space in each pose to soften a little bit more. And give it one more breath here. And then slowly start to wiggle the fingers and toes. Maybe rotate the wrists. Maybe rotate the ankles depending on the positioning of your feet. And allowing the eyes to open. Let's take the feet. If your knees are not bent, go ahead and bend them. And we're going to take the feet about hip distance apart. And we're going to hug that right knee into the chest. So hugging it in as much as you can, as much as is comfortable here. And then finding some ankle circles with that right foot. And make sure you reverse the direction so you've gone both ways. And then come back to stillness. Press that left foot down into the mat. Pull your belly button down towards the mat as well. So we're finding some stability here through the center body. And we're going to start to open that right knee out to the side and circle it through center and back. So we're taking some circles with that right hip, with that right knee, moving nice and slow. Imagine that you're moving through water here. Using that left foot, using the core engagement for some stability. So we're really trying to isolate the movement just into that right leg. And then reverse the direction, circling the other way. And take one more circle here. And then bring that right knee back to center. And go ahead and grab your strap or your towel. And we're going to take it around the bottom of the right foot. And then we're going to extend that right foot up towards the ceiling. So make sure you're not holding it so tightly that you can't move the feet. We're going to point and flex that right foot a little bit. So feeling that stretch on both sides of the legs. You can absolutely keep a bend in the knee here. Staying with your breath. Find stillness here. Maybe flex that right foot and see if you can draw the right foot a little bit closer to you. So again, if you're feeling any pain or pinching here, if this is too much on the hamstrings or the IT band, please bend that knee. Breathing here. Noticing if your left knee has begun to open out to the left a little, see if you can bring it back. Just gonna. So we're crossing it across the center line, but barely anything more than that. And if you start to feel this intensely in the IT band, please bend that knee just a little bit more. The right foot is flexed. If it's easier to hold the strap in your left hand, that's totally fine. That's in fact what I'm going to do. So we're not trying to cross it all the way over to the floor. You actually get a little bit of a deeper stretch if you don't go down as far. Take one more breath here. And then slowly bring that right foot back to center. Let's go ahead and take both ends of the strap into both hands. I'm sorry, one side of the strap or towel into each hand. And on your next exhale, if you'd like, hug the belly button in, draw the nose up towards the knee. And then slowly release. Go ahead and release the strap. Set it aside and rebend that right knee. And we're going to hug it into the chest and then open the knee out to the side. So the knee is kind of pointing at your right shoulder. And then maybe staying here, maybe just holding on behind the knee or the thigh. Or maybe taking your half happy baby here. So maybe sending the bottom of that right foot up towards the ceiling, knee is still bent. You're still opening and hugging it out to the right. And you can stay right here with the hand behind the thigh, or you can reach for the shin, for the ankle, or for either side of the foot. So seeing if you can keep that left hip on the ground and just allowing that right knee to open, imagining you could brush it against the ground, even if it gets nowhere close. Take one more breath here. And then gently release the foot or the ankle, wherever you were holding that leg. And we're going to cross the right ankle over the left thigh and send that right knee out to the side. So we're coming into our reclined pigeon here. If you know that you're feeling a little tight in the hip today, maybe this is enough for you. Maybe just gently press that right hand into the right inner thigh. That right foot is flexed and active, so we're protecting our knee. If you want to go into the full version of the pose, you're going to press off through the left foot. And you can always use a strap behind that left thigh as an arm extender here, especially if your shoulders are creeping up. Or you can just hold on to the left leg or interlace the fingers behind that left knee or thigh. Right foot is flexed and active wherever you are. Left toes don't have to be super active here. Breathing. Wherever you are, take a deep, deep breath. Exhale and soften the shoulders, soften the face, soften the arms as much as you can. And then start to send some breath, some attention into that right hip. Nice, deep, full breaths. Seeing if you can use your exhale to soften just a little bit more. And give it one more breath wherever you are. And then slowly release your hands or the strap. Release that left foot to the mat. Go ahead and hug that right knee into the chest one more time and extend the left leg long. So squeeze the right knee in, inhale, and on your exhale, we're going to take a twist. So right knee is crossing the body over to the left. That right arm can come out to the right if it's comfortable, or you can take half cactus arm, bending at the elbow. And you're not trying to get that right knee down to the ground. You're just trying to cross the midline, keeping the right shoulder on the mat as much as possible. Breathing here. One more breath. And then slowly take that right foot back to center. Release it down to the mat. Go ahead and bend the left knee. Take your feet wide and do some windshield wipers. Drop the knees side to side. And then go ahead and extend both legs long. Just notice how you feel. Maybe even shake the legs a little here, point and flex the toes. Notice if one leg feels longer than the other. And we'll repeat our sequence on the left side. So go ahead and bend the knees again and hug that left knee into the chest. And start to take your ankle circles if that feels good. And make sure you go in both directions. And then we're going to take those knee circles. So press the right foot into the mat, engage the belly here, and start to circle that left knee. Opening up the hip, again, moving nice and slow as if through water. You can use the hand to guide the leg, or you can just circle the leg on its own. And then reversing the direction whenever you feel like it. Creating some stability, so you're really just isolating in that left leg by pressing the right foot down. And then coming back to center, let's go ahead and grab our strap. So grabbing your strap or towel, taking it around the bottom of that left foot, and extend that left foot up towards the ceiling. One of the hazards of pajama pants is that they fall down. That's totally fine. And make sure you've got a loose enough grip on the strap so that you can start to point and flex your left foot. Bending the knee here if you need to. You shouldn't be feeling any pain or pinching behind the knee at all. It just means if you are feeling that, please go ahead and bend that knee a little bit more. And then go ahead and flex that left foot. See if you can encourage that left knee a little bit closer to your chest. And breathing here. Take one more breath here in center stillness. And then take both ends of the strap into the right hand. And go ahead and start to cross that left leg over to the right just a little bit. So I'm crossing the center line of my body, but I'm not going anywhere near over to the floor. My left foot is still flexed. My leg is as straight as possible here, but again, this is very intense for the IT band. You're going to feel it in the hamstrings. So please bend that knee as much as you need. Deep, deep, full breaths. And then bring that leg back to center. Go ahead and take one end of the strap into the left hand and one into the right. We're going to inhale here, and on our exhale, if you'd like, hug the belly button down towards the mat, hug the nose up towards the knee. And then slowly release. Go ahead and rebend that left knee, remove the strap, set it aside. And we're going to hug the left knee towards the chest and open it out to the left a little. So my left knee is pointing towards my left shoulder. Maybe you're just staying here. Maybe you want to take that half happy baby, flexing the left foot, the bottom of the foot points up towards the ceiling, and I'm holding on behind my knee right now. But you can hold on anywhere that's comfortable. So maybe staying here, or maybe reaching for the ankle, for either side of the foot. You can even reach for the big toe. And finding that half happy baby, letting that left knee open as much out to the left as possible, and feeling like you could just let it relax all the way down to the floor. One more deep, deep breath here. And then release your hold on that foot or the leg. And we're going to cross the left ankle over the right thigh. Left knee goes out to the left. So we're coming into our reclined pigeon here. And again, maybe this is enough for you. Flexing that left foot, maybe gently pressing the left hand into the left thigh. If you want to go into the full expression, go ahead and press off through the right foot. And you can grab anywhere that's comfortable on that right leg. You can use a strap behind as an arm extender, or you can interlace the fingers. Left toes are flexed and active. Take a deep, deep breath wherever you are. On the exhale, soften the shoulders, soften the face, soften the neck. Breathing into that left hip. Using your exhales to soften and release anything you're holding on to. And give it one more deep, full breath here. And then slowly release your hands or the strap, whatever you were holding onto that leg with if it was lifted. Release the right foot to the mat. We're going to hug that left knee in again, and we're going to take our supine twist. So extend that right leg long down the mat. Hug the left knee into the chest. Inhale. Exhale, start to cross it over the body. So we're lifting the left hip, but my left shoulder is staying on the mat as much as possible. Left arm can extend out to the left, or you can take cactus arm, bending at the elbow. And you can see that I'm not trying to force that left knee down to the mat at all, or down to the floor. I'm just getting a stretch and opening in that left hip. Deep, deep, full breaths. Take one more. And then slowly bring that left knee back to center. Release the left foot to the mat. Rebend the right knee. Take your feet extra wide and take those windshield wipers one more time. And then go ahead and extend the legs long down your mat. Notice if they feel more even now. Maybe do some windshield wipers with the toes or point and flex. And then rebend the knees and roll onto whichever side is comfortable for you. We're going to press up and come into table. So take your time, being really mindful, finding ease in the transitions here. If you need any pads or a towel for your knees and table, please go ahead and take it. All right. So finding your way into your table, again, patting the knees or the wrists if you need to. And spread the fingers nice and wide. Press all 10 knuckles, all 10 fingertips down into the mat. And then see if you can press your toes, at least the tops of them or the tips of them in. And you can always try curling the toes under here as well. Just a little different stretch for the feet. And we're going to inhale, drop the belly, open the chest. Exhale, rounding into your cat. Inhale, belly drops, tailbone lifts. And exhale, chin draws to chest. Really press away with your fingers and toes. Take 2 more rounds, moving with your own breath. And then come back to center. Go ahead and uncurl the toes if they were curled. And find any version of child's pose that feels good to you. So maybe you want to take a wide child's pose, an extended child's pose with the big toes together and the knees wide. Maybe you even want to take a block under the forehead today for a little bit of a lift. Maybe puppy pose is more comfortable for you, keeping the hips lifted, whatever feels good. So finding your version. If the shoulders are feeling tight today, bend the elbows more, take them wider towards the edges of your mat. And then soften any part of your body that's touching the mat, seeing if you can soften it just even 5% more. Seeing if you can feel the breath moving, not just in the belly now, but in the sides of the rib cage and in the back body as well. And give it one more deep, slow breath here. And then walk the hands back a little bit. If you had a block, you may need to move it for this. We're going to just walk the hands over to the right side of the mat. If it's comfortable, place your left palm on top and then release the head. So we're just coming into a gentle side bend here. And breathing into the left side of the rib cage, feeling that opening, that expansion. And then walk the hands through center over to the left, right palm on top if it's comfortable. Release the head and neck into your side bend. Give it one more breath here. And then walk the hands back to center. And we're going to thread the needle. So come back up to table, take the feet parallel, knees are parallel. You can use a block here again if you need a little bit of a lift. I think I'm going to do that just for a little support. So from your table, inhale, right fingertips reach. See if you can keep the hips stable. And exhale, thread the needle. So right arm reaches under the left, releasing the head to the floor or to a block, or a pillow would also work. This is pajama yoga after all. And you can keep that left hand pretty close to your body with the elbow bent, or you can extend the left arm towards the top of the mat, whatever's comfortable for you. I would encourage you, if you normally extend the leg here and thread the needle, see if you can keep both knees on the mat today. Breathing into the side body, seeing if you can pull your hips a little bit back so they stay a little more even. Relaxing that right arm. One more deep, deep breath here. And then engage the core. Use that right hand to slowly press yourself back. I'm sorry, left hand to slowly press yourself back up. We're coming back to our table. And we'll take the other side. So right hand stays planted. Inhale, left fingertips reach. Exhale, we're going to thread that needle. Take your time. Left arm reaches under the bridge of the right, releasing the head to a block or to the floor. That left arm is relaxing down on the floor as much as possible, and maybe keeping the right hand by the head with the arm bent, or maybe extending it towards the top of your mat. If you absolutely want to extend that right leg, you can, but I encourage you to try just finding a gentler version of the pose with both knees down. Sitting the hips back a little. Breathing into the back of the left shoulder, into the right side body. And give it one more breath wherever you are. And then slowly draw that right hand back if it was extended. Use it to help you unwind, press back up. Go ahead and set your block aside if you were using it. And we're going to come all the way down onto our belly. So take any time that you need to get there. I'm actually just going to turn around a little bit. All right. So moving onto your belly nice and slow. And then just take the hands underneath the shoulders. So we're going to do baby cobra rolls. Hug those elbows into the side body. And if you can, release your forehead to the mat. So press your hip bones down. Press the tops of your feet down. And on your inhale, we're going to roll up through the chest, lifting the forehead. Elbows are drawing back towards your feet. We're not coming up very far. And exhale, release. Let's do a few more rounds. Inhale to lift and lengthen. Exhale to lower. So my gaze is staying down at the floor. Inhale to lift. And exhale to lower. Let's do one more. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. And now I'm going to press through the hands and come up to Sphinx. So I'm sliding my hands forward. And my elbows are going to be right underneath my shoulders now, or as close as possible. So I'm pressing the elbows down, and I'm trying to lift and open my chest forward. So I'm drawing my shoulders down and back, so my arms are really active here. Your gaze should be on the floor a few feet out in front of you. If you're feeling any tightness or pinching in the low back, press your hip bones down. It's going to take a little bit of the tension out of the back by engaging the glutes a little. Notice if you're sinking. The tendency here is to sink after holding this for a few minutes. Take one more breath, press into the elbows, lift up and out. And then take your right hand and turn it towards the center. So I'm just rotating the elbow. My fingers are pointing towards my left arm. They don't have to point exactly towards the left arm. And then maybe taking the left hand over to the side and just looking over the left shoulder. So maybe staying here. If you want a little more of an intense stretch in that left leg, go ahead and bend the knee. And if you can, reach back for the foot. It's okay if you don't reach. You can always just hold the arm back like this. If you can grab the foot, go ahead and see if you can drop the chest and press that left hip a little bit down. So I'm getting both a leg and a shoulder opening here. Give it one more breath. And then gently release. Go ahead and release your head to the mat, stacking the palms, releasing the forehead to the hands. And then pressing up a little bit, we're going to bend that left knee and take it out to the side. So you want to take it out as much as possible. If you can, a 90-degree angle is what you want that left knee at. But if it's a little lower than that, it's no problem. And then I'm just going to release the right side of my head to my right arm. So my right arm is bent at the elbow. The fingers are pointing to the left. And I'm releasing my head. You can also stack the palms and release the right side of the head. Or if you'd like, you can reach that left arm forward. So this is a yin yoga posture, and it's sometimes called Spider-Man pose. And just softening the body as much as you can here. Noticing if you're holding or gripping anywhere, maybe in the muscles of the face. See if you can use your exhale to soften. Letting gravity help us here. And give it one more breath. And then slowly draw that left hand back if it was extended. Gently roll or onto your side or however you need to get out of the pose to bring that left leg back. And let's come back up to Sphinx. Just as a bit of a transition here, a back opener before we move into the other side. So elbows are under the shoulders, pressing up and out, so letting your heart center shine forward. Notice if you're squeezing the shoulders up towards the ears, it probably means you're collapsing. Press into the elbows, draw those shoulders down. And then press your hips down. And you can stay here, or you can take seal. So if you want to take seal, it's a little bit of a deeper back bend. Notice how your low back is feeling, check in. You're going to send your hands up to the top corner. You're going to lift the elbows, maybe just an inch or two off the mat. Take one more breath wherever you are. And then slowly release. So I'm going to turn my left fingers to face towards my right arm. And I'm maybe going to take my right hand out to the side and look over that right shoulder, only as much as is comfortable. So a little twist here. Maybe staying here. Or if you'd like, you can bend that right knee and reach back for the foot. If you don't touch the foot, that's okay. Just take 2 breaths or so reaching. If you can, go ahead and grab the foot and then try and take the chest back to center. If you're not holding the foot, you can just come back into Sphinx or Baby Cobra, whichever is more comfortable for you. If you are holding the foot, you're drawing it towards that glute and you're seeing if you can press that right hip down. Give it one more breath wherever you are. And then slowly release the foot if you had a hold of it. Release that right hand. And we're going to start to turn so that I'm bending my right knee, taking it out to 90 degrees. So we're coming into our Spider-Man pose on this side. Left hand, the right. You can even stack the palms. And release that left ear or the left side. Extend that right arm, you can. Reaching it up. But it's not an active reach. You're relaxing the arm as much as possible. Another active. You find the pose, and then you try and release it as much as possible. Deep, full breaths here. Seeing if you can find a little bit more ease in this pose. Softening as much as possible. Give it one more deep, slow breath here. And then slowly draw that right hand back if it was extended. Use it to help you lift enough that you can take that right knee back. That right leg is straight again. And let's stack the palms in front, release the forehead to the hands one more time, and then bend the knees and take some windshield wipers. with the feet. So releasing the low back. And then release the feet back to the mat. Draw the hands under the shoulders, and we're going to press up and back. So coming through to table, and then finding your child's pose or your puppy pose, any version that feels good to you. Nice release for the back body, breathing into the low back. Take one more breath wherever you are. And then slowly walk the hands back, press up, and let's come to a seat. So if you need a block or a bolster to sit up on, please grab one. I'm going to go ahead and grab my bolster. You can also sit on a folded towel or a pillow. It's kind of nice when you sit for a bit to have a little lift in the hips so your low back doesn't have to do so much work. So go ahead and grab your strap or your towel as well and just set it nearby. We're going to get into the shoulders a little and then we'll take it down to the floor again. So sitting up nice and tall in your seat, go ahead and take that right arm across the chest. And you can have a little bend in the right elbow. And if it's comfortable, you can turn your chin to look to the right. And give it one more breath here. And then take the chin back to center. Go ahead and release that right arm. I'm going to bend the right elbow. Take the right hand either to the back of that right shoulder or to the neck or somewhere in between. So basically where it's comfortable for you to place that hand. And then you can take the left hand to the back of the arm here, or you can take the fingers up and overhead. So my caution with the fingers up and overhead is that we tend to collapse here and kind of press the shoulders down and forward. So if you find that happening, take that left hand back to the back of the arm instead. You really want to keep it open. So wherever you are, and whether you have the hand above or below, if you'd like, you can gently pull or press that right elbow back. Try not to pull it in towards the head. Try to pull it straight back if you are pulling. Don't forget to breathe. Give it 2 more breaths wherever you are. And then slowly release. Go ahead and shake the arms out a little, maybe take a couple of shoulder rolls. And then we're going to grab our strap. We're going to take it into the right hand, and we're going to take that right hand back to the shoulder where it was. And I like to reach my left hand out first because it helps me create space. And then I'm going to take it behind my back and grab a hold of that strap wherever it's comfortable. So the closer your hands are together on the strap, the more intense it's going to be in the shoulders. So please take a wide space between the hands if you need to. Ideally, that right elbow is pointing towards the ceiling, but if it's out to the side a little bit, that's okay. Just working to open all sides of the shoulder. Sitting up nice and tall here, taking some deep belly breaths. Notice if your chin is starting to tuck here, your shoulders are starting to come forward. It means your shoulders are a little tight. See if you can lift the chin and widen the hands. Give it one more deep breath. And then slowly release the hands. Set the strap aside for a moment. And again, maybe shake the arms out, maybe take some shoulder rolls or reach through the arms. All right, we'll take the other side. So left arm comes across the chest this time. Again, you can have a little bit of a bend in the elbow and you can hold wherever's comfortable for you. If you'd like, you can turn the chin to look to the left as well. Deep, full breaths into that shoulder. Give it one more wherever you are. And then take the head back to center if it was turned. Go ahead and release that arm. And we're going to bend the left elbow, take that left hand either to the back of the shoulder, to the back of the neck, or somewhere in between. And then first try holding here, just pressing the hand gently into the tricep, or reaching up overhead and grabbing hold of that elbow with the fingertips. And it's okay if you're barely touching the elbow with the fingertips. You just want to kind of provide some stability. And again, if you're collapsing forward here, it means your shoulders are a little too tight to allow this movement. So come back. Take the hand here instead. Give yourself some space. So wherever you are, if it feels comfortable for you, if you want a little bit more of a stretch into the shoulder, you can start to gently pull or push back on that elbow. So the hand doesn't have to be up here in order to do that. It can still be here. And you're just gently pressing back with the fingertips. So breathing wherever you are. Sitting up nice and tall, but noticing if you're starting to really press the chest forward, it means your spine is starting to bend a little too much. So see if you can rein it back in. So just sitting up nice and straight. Take one more deep breath. And then slowly start to release. Shake the arms out a little bit. We're going to grab our strap. And we're going to take it. I like to loop it because it gives me something to hold on to. But you can just hold it any way that's comfortable in the left hand. And we're going to take that left hand back where it was. Maybe reaching the right arm out to give yourself some space. And then reaching behind and grabbing that strap. So both sides are a little bit different. You may find that this is the side where your hands can come a little closer, or it may be the side where you have to take more space. Pressing that left elbow up, seeing if you can drop the right elbow down. And always breathing. So here we do want some openness in the chest. So notice if you're starting to round and press in, take your hands a little bit wider on the strap. One more deep, deep, full breath here. And then nice and slow, release the hands, release the strap. We're done with it. You can set it aside. Take any shoulder rolls you need, any reaching through the hands. Oh, maybe that would feel nice, a little side bend. Yoga is a very organic process. It's about listening to your body. So you can follow a sequence of poses, but sometimes it feels nice to just deviate from the sequence a little bit and find what feels good. So we're going to come back onto our backs now. Make sure you have any props that you're going to need for Shavasana near you. I'm going to keep my bolster nearby because I'm going to use it under my knees in Shavasana today. So if you need pillows or blankets, anything like that, go ahead and grab them. And before you head down to the ground, make sure you have a block nearby. Maybe grab a sip of water, whatever feels good. All right. So make your way onto your back if you haven't already. And the knees are bent, feet are about hip distance apart. We're gonna grab our block. Oops, I knocked mine over. Press into your feet, lift the hips just enough to slide the block underneath the sacrum. If you don't have a block, you can always use a pillow instead. You're not gonna get that same lift or support that a block would provide, but you are gonna get a little bit of a back bend with a pillow. So the sacrum is that flat bone between the tailbone and the waist. And so you don't want the block up on your waistline, not where you're all the way down at your tailbone. You want it somewhere in between. And then just allow the arms to open, palms face up by the sides, coming into our supported bridge. We're just going to keep the feet down today. If you want to take legs up the block, I would invite you to wait and take that in Shavasana. So breathing into the belly, seeing if you can soften and release over the block. Noticing if you're trying to flatten the back of the neck against the ground here. See if you can lift your chin just a slight bit, preserving that C curve in the back of the neck. Take one more breath here. And then staying on the block or on your pillow, you may have to adjust the block a little bit. When I start to move my legs, my block feels too low. So I need to scoot mine a little bit higher. So you may need to make an adjustment as well. And I'm going to bend my knees and hug them into the chest. So they're not going to come very close in. I'm just bending them and taking my feet off of the mat. And I'm going to keep my right knee in. And I'm going to extend my left leg long. So my foot is going to flex and I'm pressing that left thigh down towards the mat as much as possible. And then I'm going to hold on to my right leg with the right hand. And I'm just going to open that right knee out to the right just a little bit. So I kind of like to support on the outside with my hand. And I like to keep my left palm on my left hip bone, just as a reminder to keep my hips level. Breathing here, pressing that left thigh down so my left leg is really active. Give it one more deep, deep breath. And then draw that right knee back to center. Go ahead and rebend the left knee and take it up. And then I'm going to release the right foot down and extend that right leg long. So flexing the right toes, pressing that right thigh down. And I'm going to grab my left leg and take that knee out to the left just a little bit. Maybe you feel comfortable resting the right hand on the right hip bone, just a reminder to press that hip down. Deep, full breaths here. And give it one more nice deep breath. And then bring that left knee back to center. Rebend the right. Go ahead and release the feet to the mat. Press into the feet just enough to lift the hips and remove the block or the pillow. And then roll down through the spine nice and slow. And we're going to go ahead and take the feet wide and do a few winds here. We're winding down almost at the end of our practice. We have one more pose. And the next time the knees are over to the right, let's keep them there. So maybe just staying here for your supine twist, just dropping the knees as far to the right as possible. If you want a little bit more of a stretch, a little bit more opening in the front of that left hip, you can take the right foot and ankle and cross it over the back of the left thigh or knee. So both feet are flexed if you're doing this, and then you're dropping that right knee down as much as possible. So just a little added leverage here to help you get into the stretch. If this is too much, you don't have to cross the ankle. You can just leave the knees over to the right. Give it one more breath. And then go ahead and uncross that right ankle if you had it crossed. Take the knees over to the left and drop them down as far as is comfortable for you. Maybe just staying here, or maybe taking that left ankle and crossing it over the back of the right knee or thigh, dropping that left knee as much as possible. Both feet are flexed and really active here. And breathing into the front of that right hip. One more breath. And then release the ankle if it was crossed. Maybe take some windshield wipers or take any other pose that feels good. Our last pose is Shavasana, so we're heading there whenever you're ready. So taking a full body stretch if you need it, or knees into the chest, or any other pose that feels good to you. Maybe a reclined butterfly. If you wanted to take legs up the block and didn't get to, now's the time to work it in. You can also just take the block back under the sacrum if you want for your Shavasana. If you do want to use a bolster for Shavasana, you can sit up to grab it if you need to. I'm going to take mine under my knees just to take any pressure out of my low back. You're also welcome to take the bolster behind your back. So whenever you find your comfortable final resting pose, you may have to scooch into it a little bit if you're using props. Go ahead and allow the eyes to soften or close whenever you find your comfortable Shavasana here. And let's all take a deep, deep, full breath in through the nose. And open the mouth, sigh it out. Deep, deep, full breath, fill the belly. Long sigh out. And one more. Deepest breath you've taken all morning. And let everything go. And feel free to sigh a few more times if that's what the body needs. And gradually allowing your breath to return to its natural rhythm. Just like we did in the beginning, feeling all points of contact between your body and the mat. Seeing if you can soften and release. If you can allow the body to melt into the mat just a little bit more. And letting gravity help you. Knowing that you're in a safe space to let go of anything you're holding on to, anything that's no longer serving you. Softening it, releasing it. Giving yourself a few quiet moments here to absorb your practice. Slowly beginning to bring your attention back into your physical body. Back to the rise and fall of the breath. Beginning to deepen each inhale and lengthen each exhale. And feeling this energy of the breath beginning to spread through the body. And finding any movement that feels good in the fingers and the toes. Maybe rotating the wrists and ankles. Taking any final movement that's calling you on the mat, maybe a full body stretch. Maybe hugging the knees into the chest. If you had props under the knees or under the body, being very careful to remove them or to roll to one side to come off of them. Taking your time, pressing yourself back up to a comfortable seat. And once you arrive, sitting up nice and tall, allowing the eyes to soften or close one more time. And just taking a moment here to notice how you're feeling. Knowing that there is no right or wrong way to be feeling in this moment. If it feels good, drawing the hands together at the heart. Sealing in your practice today. Taking anything that served you off your mat into the rest of your day and week to come. Leaving behind anything that didn't. I thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.